Okay, let's talk for a minute a little bit of really fundamental technique that we would typically see trained at first degree black belt in our branch of HapKiDo. I want to talk a little bit about the Bong and basic blocking, and also a basic lock with it as well. Now, in the basic blocking on the Bong, it's very much framed out. This is an upper block, okay? I'm not behind my head, I'm not way out in front of my head, I'm certainly not short of my head. I've got to come up, and it's more of a pushing motion. You'll see my wrist roll a little bit. To the side, it's the same thing. I frame out. I don't go way far, and I definitely don't snap with it. I don't have enough stick here to snap. If I snap, I'm liable to miss the block. Same thing this way. So there's no snapping or what I call flagpoling. I'm not moving in a rainbow here. I push. It's a pushing block each of these ways. If you're at home, practice that. Get that down pat. Avoid this. This is an okay way to block if my stick was this long. It's not. This is all I have to work with. Okay? A way that this technique can be combined and practiced for someone that's a second degree is if you had a second degree black belt and they're working a sword. Come on out. Second degree black belt can practice the basic downward strike to the head. Okay, the Hari strike. So he draws back, and I just come up and block. Don't be afraid to bring it down. Okay, you can see here, had I snapped the block, I would have probably deflected and been hit or missed completely. Okay, and I certainly don't bring it in a circle. It has to be driven up. Okay, all right, let's set the sword out for a second. Let's also take a look at the basic wrist lock with the Bong. The easiest way to do this is to initiate with your free hand, and then the Bong comes in to assist. Now that's if I'm initiating the lock. Certainly I could have him set up some kind of attack on the lapel or somewhere around in there, or even to punch and come off of an attack. But here, let's keep it simple. I initiate with the grab, and then I'm going to bring from a palmed position back across the back of his hand. And I'm going to start looking for this basic 90-degree angle that we're always looking for in the wrist lock. And then it's a circle step. Okay, you can see where I am in relation to his head and my elbow. So again, I'm just catching it and immediately moving in and locking in the back of the hand. And I'm looking for this angle. And you can see where we are. Now, is there a way we can combine these things? Yeah, absolutely. Go back to the sword. So my sword man draws. I bring it up, I come down, and I work. And that, my friends, is probably technique very similar to what you would have seen samurai doing, because with their armor, they couldn't really punch and kick. They didn't have that fluidity of movement. So they did a lot more wrist locking, especially from the jiu-jitsu. Bring the sword one more time. And remember, the roots of the HapKiDo is Dataru Aki Jiu-Jitsu. And that traces back to a lot of the empty hand work for the samurai. So your sword person would draw back, he comes up, and I block. Immediately then, as it starts to come down, my hand attacks his hand. Don't try to get too greedy, draw all the way back. Don't try to get too greedy and stick this hand out early down here, because if you get it mixed up and you get your wires crossed, you're liable to get your hand cut off. So when they draw, I'm going to lead in behind the Bong. You see that? And it pops it, and it's bringing it down. And now I've got locked and ready, and I'm ready for my wrist lock. Look where the sword's pointing, right toward the ground. Look where my elbow is. It's the same position I was in before when I did the basic wrist lock. Okay? So, first degree, Bong. Second degree, basic sword technique. This is the way first, second degrees can train together. But if you're first degree black belt and you're defending against the sword with this little stick, you better have this little stick down pat. Okay? All right, we will be back together live and as a group soon, I'm sure. Again, HapKiDo's been around 2,300 plus years, so I think we can survive a virus. Okay? Train hard.